Hey, I just wanted to jump online really quickly and tell you a little bit more about what the sanctuary can really offer you and why I think it's a fantastic place to be if you were someone who is really committed and interested and wanting to step up to the author dream. So I'm just going to do this by recapping the 5 steps of the challenge that we did last week. Day one, if you remember, was all about getting started and looking at maybe why you hadn't been writing before. And for lots of people, this brought up an issue of maybe time, which we looked at in day 3, but also the feeling of, well, not being good enough, or feeling like you're a bit of a fraud or an imposter, or those feelings of it just not being right on the page, all of the mindset stuff. There was a specific reason why we designed the challenge in that way, because we get the mindset stuff out of the way first. But we do a lot of the mindset work in the sanctuary. In a challenge, we can only do so much together, which is great, but it's a short, concentrated burst of work. To really make some mindset changes, we need a little bit longer together and to go a little bit deeper. So in the sanctuary, we look specifically at mindsets. And we do that just by being tapped into a group of high vibe people who are all committed to raising their mindset and committed to being authors and getting their books out there. But also we do things like visualizations, meditations, and just the general one-to-one coaching I give you. Like I said, I don't do one-to-one coaching anymore. It's just not what I want to do these days. I love group energy and group work. The sanctuary, because it's quite an intimate place, it is the place where you can still get a lot of one-to-one support from me, but also be tapped into the collective of everybody else. So I'm very good at highlighting, look, I know that person's hiding, I know that person's playing a bit small, I know that person feels a bit insecure, and I do what I can to lift you up. And over a period of time, 3 or 6 months, depending on what you want, we can really transform that mindset issue, because it's not something that necessarily goes away in a day. It's something we kind of keep working on and keep reframing and keep changing until your confidence levels really improve. Day 2 in the challenge, we looked at your big author dream. Wasn't that a lovely day just to tap into that dream? And again, one of the things that consistently makes a dream come true, which is proven to make a dream come true, is by staying in the energy of the dream, staying in the place of the manifested reality, rather than looking at it from a distance and looking at how far you've got to go, i.e. from a place of lack. So again, in the sanctuary, it's a very positive place. It's a place where we consistently look at placing you in your author shoes and in your dream. When we're in that dream kind of alternate reality of what is possible for us, it's much easier then to bring in the reality of it. And of course, a dream doesn't just come true with energetic work. I'm not that woo-woo. A dream comes true with a series of actionable, practical steps. And that's exactly what we do in the sanctuary. We give you actionable, practical steps wherever you are in the book writing process, whether you need to get started and need a plan to get you started and over that initial hurdle, whether you're halfway through or a little bit lost and wanting to restart or just get the momentum to keep going, whether you're at the end of the book and looking at how do you get it published. That's how a dream comes through. It's through action. And that's what the sanctuary is very much about. It's not just a really nice place to hang out, although it is. It's also a place where we really focus you and get you on the path towards making that dream come true. Day 3 was the big one in the challenge. It was about time. And I tell you that time is the biggest thing that I hear from new writers. I haven't got the time. Oh, gosh, how much time is this book taking? And again, one day in the challenge can help you start to lift the lid off some of the time issues. But making the time to write or to create any positive habit actually takes time. It's a little bit of a kind of a converse situation. And so when we create a habit to write, you can do it by yourself if you've got a lot of willpower. But one of the reasons why we do it in the sanctuary, when it makes it so much easier, is that everybody's trying to create the time together. So literally everybody is on that path or that pavement or that road of let's see how we can create time. And when as a collective you are creating time together, it makes it so much easier to get to the page. And also there's a level of accountability. If no one's holding you accountable, then it's easier to kind of take a day off, and then that day off slips. I know when I take a day off, the danger is it slips to a week and then a month, and then before you know it, in 6 months' time, you're thinking, well, hang on a second, I took a day off, but I never seem to get the time to come back. So that's how we have a lot of accountability. Again, we have a lot of the people energy and tapping into it. And also we have something called Feedback Friday, which I'll come to in a second. The fourth day in the challenge was looking at your reader. You know, some of you found this a little bit hard because it's the thought of coming up to the reality of your book actually being out there in people's hands. Sometimes it's like a nice abstract concept. We're writing a book, but actually the reality is that book is going to go into somebody's hands. And sometimes that's a bit of an uncomfortable journey to go through. So that's why in the sanctuary, we really look at your reader. These are the physical, professional, practical steps we need to make sure that you are writing the kind of book which is going to connect with a certain person in the marketplace. It's really easy to write a book and try and make it for everybody. When we actually get to what we call the business end of writing a book, i.e. the realization it's going to go out and be read by other people, there's some set steps that we can make to make sure that your book is targeted to the right kind of people, your blurb is written in the right kind of way, and you know when you're sending your book out to publishers and agents that actually you've got the message to market match. That's the practical stuff. We've got tons of training videos. If you don't like training videos, I've got them all in PDF guides as well. I've got cheat sheets, handouts, you name it. It's all there for you to help you get to grips with writing a professional book. Most people can write a book. I'm not going to lie. You could do it by yourself. It might take you a bit longer. But the difference is you're looking at the standard of the book or the thing that you want to write. Is what you can write by yourself going to be the standard that it needs to be to get an agent or a publisher, or even the standard that it needs to be to actually get those 5-star reviews and to make the difference that you really want it to make. So what I'm committed to in the sanctuary is making sure that the standard of your book is professional, or as professional as possible. And finally, on day 5, we looked at perfectionism, which is a huge one. And that's something, again, we look at a lot in the sanctuary. And one of the big ways we look at it is something called Feedback Friday. So I'm just going to show you this, because sometimes when I'm talking about the sanctuary, you're like, well, what is it? What does it look like? It's sometimes good to get a visual. So I'm just going to share my screen. There we go. Here we go. I'm right. That's a message from my best friend. They need to see that. But here we go. So this is the Sanctuary Facebook group. Okay, so there's me. There it is. So it's not that many people. It's a nice, intimate group. So it's not a scary place. And it means a lot of individual and one-to-one feedback for you. When you join, there's a lovely pinned post. But the main activity, although there is a members area as well, which is a separate web page, look at this, there's fun in this group as well. The main activity takes place in the Facebook group. It's like the free group, but on steroids. The free group, you will notice that I post inspirational posts and I'm there, but 99% of my time and my effort, and obviously my professional expertise, because it comes with an investment, goes into this group. So this is if you want to turbocharge and power up your dreams. People post their writing a lot of the time. You know, this is the first time I've submitted my work here, said Bernadette. You know, and everybody absolutely adored that piece. So it's a great place to post your work and get feedback from each other. If you wanted to post in the free group, you can, but it's not the same. Here we have something called Feedback Friday, and this is what I wanted to come to, which relates to the perfectionism piece. One of the things that stops us from really writing is the feeling of like, are we good enough, and wanting to share it in public. That's why every Friday in this sanctuary, I have something called Feedback Friday, where every single person in the group, should they feel comfortable, can share up to 500 words of their book, and it goes into this thread, and everybody kind of shares their 500 words, And people can give feedback on it. Either it's praise, if you wanted a little bit more kind of deeper feedback, you can get that. Often people post their photos as well. Have a look at those journals and stuff. Here's a rewrite, says Naomi, something to do with her short stories, etc., etc. So that happens every Friday, and that really allows you to get over the perfectionism piece, and that allows you to get comfortable with sharing your, spreading your comfort zone and getting used to your writing being out there. And I just wanted to finish by clicking on the unit section, because in the unit section you can see I also do something called Feedback Friday again, but it's a video. So if you look at this, every Friday, I review 1,000 words of somebody's work in progress, and we look at a specific topic each time. And look, I've seen it all, okay, I really have. But what I have noticed that one person's error is everybody's error. So when we look at Feedback Friday, we can really look at how to make the changes in this particular scene or short story or non-fiction introduction, and that can apply to you. So some of the previous ones, look, have been reviewing a short story, reviewing the introduction of a non-fiction book, how to write a synopsis, tightening up, how to write a short story, contributing towards an anthology, what not to include in an opening chapter, a submission package. There's loads, and if you look at it, and this is about solving the pain of a non-fiction book, you can see that actually there's me. I'm looking at specific things. I give you that feedback, and that could apply to everybody. And then also, so that's what you get in the Facebook group when you join. It's a beautiful place, but also you get, let me find the right one, you get access to this resource area as well. This is just for you. It's a password protected page, and it's got all of this in it. Like I said, loads and loads of resources. If we look on this one, for example, you will see then genius is 1% inspiration and 99 perspiration. So I've compiled all the tools: writing dialogue, strong female characters, flashbacks and backstory, editing, etc. That's all there. I'm going to stop this share now so I can come back to, that's that. Here we go. So just wanted to point out everything that's available to you. Should you be thinking, you know what, I don't know whether I should make this step up. Is it for me? What's involved? That gives you an overview of how we can take each of the days of the 5 challenge and go through it a lot deeper in order to get you the results that you want. Ultimately, I know you're here because, hang on a second, you want to write your own book. Okay, this is my first book. You want to write your own book. And for me, the best way of writing a book, I'm not saying that you have to join the sanctuary, but I do know from experience that people that step up and they commit, that they get a lot closer to having this in their hand, a lot closer. And not only that, the journey is a lot more enjoyable, it's a lot quicker, and the end result isn't this kind of hodgepodge thing that you've jumbled up by yourself. It's something of a high professional standard that you can then submit into the world and be confident and proud of. So, should you want to join me in the sanctuary and all the other gorgeous ladies, then if you join before the end of today, you get the rest of April free. That's 2 whole weeks free. The investment for the sanctuary works out at £47 a month, which is hardly, it's about £1.50 a day. When I do one-to-one coaching, I charge upwards of £150 per hour. We can do a lot in one-to-one coaching, but we can do the same in the sanctuary for 1/3 of the price. And if you think about it in terms of the 3-month package, which would be 3.5 months for the price of 3, or 6.5 months for the price of 6, how much you could achieve with my mentoring, the energy of the others, the group accountability, the opportunity for professional feedback, the understanding of the marketplace and the professional advice and guidance than you could do by yourself. So I'll leave you with that thought. To your book dreams. And if you've got any questions, support at soulwriterscafe.com, or just message me on Facebook. I'd love to hear from you. If you join today, you also get a bonus group call where we can do a specific plan of action just for you to make sure you have one of these in your hands very soon. Bye for now, my lovely.